Ladies and gents, boys and girls, happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Hope you're all doing well. Wednesday, March the 22nd, 2023. Appreciate you all tuning in. Let's see. I see Brandon Ward, Travi, Gad, John Edward. What's going on? Also, those in the Big Cock Club Discord. Head over to the TDC Questions channel, the TDC Questions channel. Be sure your questions are answered there. Yes, Brandon, I appreciate you sending the DM this morning. I got to get me one of those belts. Those belts look really, really cool. I will definitely get on that. But either way, guys, appreciate you all tuning in. We are live taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377 here on this Wednesday. Again, guys, appreciate you all tuning in. Of course, as always, TDC brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Go download the Prize Picks app. Go to prizepicks.com. And when you do use that promo code TSUS to receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Guys, you can play anything and everything, of course, college sports, pro sports. We got March Madness going on right now. I think MLB opening day is literally next week. The women's college basketball tournament, guys, they've got everything that you can think of. I know you're playing spreads, you're playing totals, you're playing futures. Make sure you're also playing with our friends at Prize Picks. So again, go download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com. And when you do, use that promo code TSUS to receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Be sure to check them out and tell them that Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. Guys, again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Of course, Gamecocks losing last night to Charlotte. Gamecocks losing last night to Charlotte by a final score of 6-2. We can talk about that much more on a bit of a rainy day, bit of a dreary day in the upstate here, but everything, hey, it's how you make it. It's the way you look at it, if you will. So it's a little bit rainy outside, but either way, we are rocking and rolling. Let's see. We'll go ahead and get right into your questions. And John Edwards says, everybody relax. We're not going to win every single midweek game. Yeah, John Edwards, you can really tell on social media who is familiar with the game of baseball and its nuances and who is not, right? Because you're right. You're not going to win every single ball game. You're going to win a third of the games you play. You're going to lose a third of the games you play. And you're going to have bad nights. That's just it. This game spares no one. Bottom line, this game spares no one. So yesterday, yes, I picked the win. I picked South Carolina to beat Charlotte. But remember what I told you yesterday. I also said it would not shock me if this were the night that the midweek bites South Carolina, because at some point, most likely, it's going to. At some point, it's going to happen. Now, the key is not allowing it to become a trend. And I don't think that's going to become a trend. I don't think that's going to be the case. But bouncing back the right way, being resilient, not allowing it to become a trend, that is the key. Not avoiding losses entirely. That's impossible. Guys, it doesn't happen in baseball. You play 56 games. It doesn't happen. You know, one of the things I love about baseball versus football is we don't freak out after every single loss. That's the beautiful thing. You get tomorrow. You get to play again. You get to fight back and show that resiliency. You get to win anyway. So, for example, let's say you go on a Friday. Let's say you lose to Mizzou. I'm sure you can all imagine how social media will be. But you win Saturday, Sunday, you win 2 of 3. Well, guess what? The weekend's a success. You're not defined by one game. And so South Carolina will not be defined by what happened last night. You come out flat. You don't swing it well. Umpire was suspect. Eli Jersenbeck doesn't have his best stuff. You have one bad inning, and you lose a ball game in a ballpark that, maybe you haven't played your best baseball in. It is what it is, guys. But it's going to take a lot more than one midweek loss for me to hit the panic button in any sort of way, and it should be for you as well. I saw way too much of it on social media, which it's tale as old as time. It's year after year after year, the same people, it feels like, are freaking out and just they throw in the towel at the first given chance. You can tell they've never overcome adversity in their life, and they'd tuck their tail between their legs and they'd cower and they'd run away. That's what it tells me. A lot of these people. Baseball's a game where you fail, and you fail a lot. You fail 7 out of 10 times, you're a Hall of Famer. You fail a lot. Can you bounce back? Can you be resilient? Bad nights are going to happen. Just don't make it a trend. That's the key. This ball club will be fine. That's the bottom line, I think. That's the bottom line. So we shall see. But I'm not, guys, I'm not hitting the panic button. I'm not worried about it. You have a bad night. Bad nights happen, man. There's just, listen, guys, there's just some nights it just ain't your night. It don't go your way. It is what it is. There's some nights it don't go your way. So Chase Floyd, is Charlotte baseball's Missouri? I have no idea. I don't even know what you're trying to ask. Let's see. James Kendall, I need a t-shirt that has fire/extend/fire Kingston with strike throughs. Yeah, every time we lose a game, it's just fire Kingston, right? I mean, dude, even last year, I didn't overreact to like one ball game and call for Kingston's firing, right? I mean, we went, by the way, guys, funny story, funny side note. Today, a year ago today, is when South Carolina lost to the Citadel in the Citadel. And that sparked one of my most memorable episodes of all time. I know our good friend Dalton, who calls in a lot, he has said, I think he said that's his favorite episode of TSUS ever. Where if you remember, I blew a gasket, right? I blew a gasket after that game because it just felt like the way you were representing the University of South Carolina, you were not representing it the proper way. And but it wasn't after Citadel that it wasn't after Citadel that I called for that. It was after the Auburn series in which we got swept. And it was just so painfully evident at that point the direction things were going. So, I just, guys, it's one game. I mean, it's one game. It's literally one game. You lose a game in baseball. I mean, you've seen it across college baseball, by the way. Other teams have been losing midweeks. It is what it is. Again, just don't make it a trend. Just don't make it a trend. But it's baseball. You're going to lose. You're going to lose. Chase Floyd, Missouri has owned us in football. Charlotte has beat us 2 years in a row in baseball. So maybe they are baseball's Missouri. I mean, if you want to draw that conclusion, I guess you can. I guess you can. I don't know. I mean, Charlotte's just a good ball club. They got a good program. They have a good program. Johnny, but the thing about the MLB and college baseball, you don't and shouldn't overreact. I mean, dude, especially MLB. I mean, dude, the best MLB team, like the best teams in history, lost like 60 games. I mean, you're going to lose games. It just happens. You're going to lose games. Yeah, Jacoby, it's cool to be a South Carolina baseball player, but you know what's better? Winning. Yeah. That was a hell of an episode last year when I went off after that Citadel game. That was a hell of an episode. Travis says 20-2 is still sexy at the moment. Take the Missouri series. Indeed. Hey, as long as you do that, nobody's going to care, right? It's all about SEC play. Anyways, guys, we got Mark Ryan joining the show at 12:15. Really excited to chat with Mark, get his thoughts on everything. Really, really excited to get his thoughts. We've got football to discuss. Of course, we'll get Mark's take on baseball. Every time I go on his show, he's asking me, do you think this is an Omaha club? So I might flip the question on him and pose it to him, which is, I was thinking about this over the weekend, watching SEC play get underway and watching some highlights. It's crazy to me that Mark Ryan's not a college baseball guy because, like, it's why, I know that football's king at this school as well, but like Florida, and I get football rules everything, and like basketball has been really good too, but like, bro, their baseball program is elite. Like, it's elite. They went to Omaha 7 times in the 2010s. That is insane. Like, that's enough to make you a baseball school at that point. Really, truly. So it's almost surprising to me that Mark's not more into college baseball, especially as good as his team is. Like, why would you not want to watch it? They're ridiculous, right? So let's see. Anyways, guys, 843-790-337. Someone love to get a couple questions in or calls before Mark Ryan does join us. Let's see. Chase says they're under 500 this year, and the starter had almost a 12 ERA. I don't think they were that good last night. Just sucks to lose someone like that in the midweek. If we lost to North Carolina in the midweek, that's respectable. I mean, Chase, it is what it is, man. I'm just saying that Charlotte has a good program. I'm not saying they're great this year. I think I heard, though, 7 of their losses are by 3 runs or less. So they've had a rough start of the season, but I mean, I don't think they're just some terrible team. I mean, dude, it is, again, it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and come down on people and hammer people for losing one game. Losing one game, dude. One singular game, you know. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So it is what it is. You move forward, and again, as long as you don't let it linger in the weekend, and hey, you win 2 out of 3 or you sweep Mizzou, there's nobody's going to give a damn about losing to Charlotte. It just bottom line, nobody's going to care. Anyways, guys, outside of that, I mean, is there anything crazy happening right now? I don't think. I was thinking about this morning that this time of year, it's just the days are somewhat hit or miss, or they can be. They can be, right? Not every day is crazy popping like football, but the consistency is what I pride myself on, and what I think you guys, I would like to say, I'm not trying to speak for you all, but what I think you guys, really respect about TSUS, the fact we stay consistent, right? Doesn't matter the sport, doesn't matter the season, doesn't matter the time of year, we do stay consistent. That's what it's all about, right? It's all about being consistent. Too many people chase virality on social media. Virality comes and goes, and virality is also subjective. To some people, 1,000 views is going viral, right? And some people, 1 million views is what you need. So, I just believe in being consistent. That's my top piece of advice, or one of my top pieces of advice to entrepreneurs and especially content creators, is just consistency, right? Anybody can show up and make one podcast, one clip, do one event, do one tweet, whatever it might be. Anybody can do it once or maybe even twice, but it's about the consistency. That's what separates you. I mean, truly, can you do it every single day, repeatedly, over and over and over again for, I say, like a year? Most people can't even go a month, right? But a year. How about 5 years? Can you do it for 5 years in a row? That's how you really establish and build something. So it's all about consistency for me, and that's what I pride myself on. Chases, I don't think I'm hammering them either, but a bad loss is a bad loss. Well, I mean, again, I just call it a loss. I don't even really call it a bad loss. I just call it a loss, Chase. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. I don't call it a bad loss, because to say it's a bad loss would to say that it's going to like wreck the season. I don't think so. You're going to lose a midweek game. I mean, it's just a bottom line. If you'd have told me we'd be 20-2 right now, I would have signed up for it in a heartbeat. I don't categorize it as like a bad loss. Is there such thing as a good loss? I mean, a loss is a loss. I don't, good, bad, indifferent. A loss is a loss. So you lost the game. You lost the game. Home plate umpire was atrocious. Jersey-Beck didn't have his best stuff. I mean, it's just bound to happen, man. It's just bound to happen. But I think this team will bounce back the right way. I think they'll be resilient. We need Founders Park, obviously, to be popping this weekend, and I think Gamecock fans will show up and show out. And it's a big series. It's a big series because Missouri, while they're ranked, and I know they just swept Tennessee, I still feel like on your home field, it's one you should expect to win. I think it's absolutely one that you should expect to win. So it'll be a big series for sure for the Gamecocks, no doubt. By the way, guys, let me remind you, our TSUS Spring Tour gets going tomorrow in Columbia. Really, really excited, guys. 6 o'clock until all my Capital City Gamecocks. Cannot wait to see you guys hang out. We'll do a little bit of a Q&A, if you will. We'll be flinging merch. We will have the Beamer Ball to the Moon Tour shirts for sale. The only way that you can get those is if you come out to the tour stops. That is the only way you can get them right now. So be sure to come on out. We'll have those for sale. We'll also have, of course, you guys' favorite, the Beamer Ball towels. These will be on sale at the event as well. We'll also have koozies. You all know the drill at this point. So, again, come on out. Going to be a really good time. Also, koozies to give away. Again, going to be a lot of fun, man. It was a blast doing it over the summer, and cannot wait to see all you guys yet again and what happens on this spring tour. Going to be a ton of fun. Anyways, guys, got Mark Ryan upcoming in just a moment. Travie, do we still not have the best record in D1? I think we do. 20-2 is sexy. Indeed. Glenn Wine says, I think this can actually go in our favor. They got their bad game out of the way instead of a fire to go whip Mizzou, which is ranked. Probably best game to drop the ball, pun intended. I mean, you never want to lose, but, I mean, again, it's just like it's inevitable. It's inevitable. It really is. It's inevitable. Brandon Ward says, I'll be in Greenville. I need a large. Brandon, we have larges. Hey, we have larges, my friend. That's by the way, the shirts will be $30 even. $30 flat even. I mean, guys, we have to charge that. Like, I just want to let you guys know when it comes to fulfillment costs and, paying my designer. Like we have to do that. We just flat out have to do that. So, yeah, they're going to be a flat $30, and they're also an exclusive item. Like this is a shirt that not everybody's going to have access to, not everybody's going to get. So again, $30 flat is what we're going to charge for those. So I know people were asking. Again, we're waiting on Mark Ryan to jump in. So again, appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you're having a fantastic day today. Really excited to get underway this weekend. Carolina, Mizzou. Really excited for that. By the way, guys, the big news that I teased a bit ago, that is still in the works behind the scenes. I want to let you guys know I was not just making something up. Was not just pulling your leg. That is happening as we speak. A lot of litigation back and forth, negotiating, if you will. So Hunter Kelly's always playing stupid games like Charlotte. I mean, Hunter, it happens, man. Midweek losses happen. That being said, let's go ahead and get him in here. He joins us every single Wednesday, and he hosts Offsides with Mark Ryan Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. And again, he joins us every Wednesday around this time. Mark Ryan of the Fan Upstate of Offsides. Mark Ryan. Mark, what's going on, my friend? How are you?
How do I look in garnets? Is this a good look for
my
me?
Friend.
Is this a good look for me, my friend? I've got the garnet here. I've got the black here. I just want to make sure I'm in the right place.
You look really good. I think it's really stylish on you. Really stylish. I'm surprised you're not in orange and blue or something else.
That's what they tell me. Well, look, Chris, let's be honest, okay? Garnet and black, garnet and gold is a much better color combination than orange and blue or orange and purple or orange and whatever fancy regalia you want to call it, okay? It's just a much better color combination. I will say the evidence of that right now. Travis Roll on the text chat. What's up, Travis? Good to talk to you guys, my friends. Great to be here, as is always the case. Let's get this party started.
Yeah, Mark, I was going to say, though, the one team I feel like that makes purple work is LSU. Like, I really like LSU's. Like, I've been on their campus, and, like, I don't know. They just make it work, man. I don't know. I don't know if it's a different shade or what it is.
Did you happen to see the Kansas State basketball uniforms against Kentucky on the weekend? I don't know if you watched that game.
I didn't know.
That was the best looking use of purple I have ever seen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, look up the Kansas State jerseys against Kentucky over the weekend. They had two different shades of purple and like an old school matted format. Chris, I'm going to send it to you, and you will agree, my friend. You would agree to be painted in purple if you could look like this, if you could look this good. I also think TCU does purple well. You know?
Yeah, they do. I'm actually looking at the unis right now. So they were white unis with the purple outline and
you know, like there's like a lavender touch to it as well.
Yeah, a lot of their staff is wearing the lavender. Yeah, that looks good. That looks really good. Yeah, I like it.
Sweet.
So, Mark, let's get into it, my friend. I want to start on the baseball side of things. Gamecocks dropped the midweek last night, but still sit 20-2, 11th in the country. You ask me this question all the time, so I'm going to turn it on you. When you look at this Carolina ball club, 8 teams make it to Omaha. It is very difficult, right? It's not always guaranteed because of what you did in the regular season or even conference play. Look at Tennessee last year. They were the best team, I think, in college baseball. It's not even debatable, and they don't make it to Omaha. In your mind, you look at this team, do you feel like this is an Omaha club based off of what you've seen to this point?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And Chris, I need to lead you to the light on this team. I don't know if this is PTSD on your part. I don't know if you are suffering from some sort of baseball-related anxiety. But Chris, you know, look at how the game is changing. Look at how the game is changing at the highest level, right? What were the old adages back in the day? Pitching wins championships, right? Mm-hmm. Defense wins championships in football. Run the football, stop the run. You know how much so many of these are changing, right? Yeah, like the last 3 World Series champions, Chris, have all been top 5 in runs scored, okay? Now think about that. Going up against what we thought of baseball when we were growing up. You are doing that. South Carolina is doing that. South Carolina's lineup and their production is a very MLB way of winning at the highest level. They're adapting with the times. They're not playing an old, tired game from yesteryear. They are battering you to death through the lineup. They are lengthening games. They are fatiguing you. And that is absolutely a protocol that can lead you to Omaha. Chris, name me 5 more potent lineups in the game than what South Carolina has right now. Then when you consider what is winning in Major League Baseball, okay, the best run producing teams are those winning the World Series. There's your answer, Chris. It's just right in front of you. I just need you to open up your door, step outside, and realize how bright the future is for you, son.
I would say this, Mark. The only thing I would say is that, do I think this is an Omaha caliber team? Could they get there? Yes. I'm just not willing to go heavy black ink and say they will be there. So I just want to make it clear that I do think this team has the makings to get there. I mean, I've mentioned many times the pitching's Omaha caliber. If the hitting complements it, the defense is good enough. But if the hitting complements it, I mean, the pitching is Omaha-esque. I just know baseball is a crazy game. Again, like a team like Tennessee last year, who was the best team in college baseball, it's not a guarantee that you will get in. But yes, I would agree with you. This team has the makings of it. It's funny you mentioned the best lineups in college baseball because your Gators, I think, are one of them, man. Florida is red hot right now. They're going to be tough to beat. That's going to be a great series later in the season, South Carolina, Florida. I really hope it's one of those where the Gamecocks are, doing what they think they're going to do, having a great season. I think Florida's going to have a great season. Many people are projecting Florida to be, maybe the number 1 seed in all of college baseball. Like there's some people that think that highly of them. So I can't wait to see that series, man. It was always fun back in the early 2010s when the Gamecocks were, on their great run. And it always felt like that South Carolina, Florida series at the very end. That was the series to decide the SEC East winner. And then, of course, we all know the history between the two in 2011 College World Series final and, the Gamecocks come out on top. But, I mean, great games, great teams. A lot of MLB guys on those two teams. Right? And on the Florida side, for sure, a lot of MLB guys coming out of Gainesville. Yeah, go ahead.
Chris, I want to bring you into this discussion, too. What, in your opinion, March Madness right now is delivering record-setting ratings, right? And I'm wondering if the transfer portal is actually helping March Madness because what it is doing, it used to be if your roster sucked, it'd take you 3 or 4 years to get a good one. Now, if you had a bad year, you can have a great year the next year by way of the transfer portal, right? Mm-hmm. So it hurts some teams, it's helping others. But the fact that you look at the fact that the NBA has record low ratings right now, mm-hmm. March Madness, the first 2 rounds, has record high ratings. What gets college baseball elevated from a national standpoint? You look and see what the SEC network has done for college softball, right? I went to my first Clemson softball game over the weekend, Chris, and I was floored that the softball game was a sellout. You look right across your shoulder, right over your shoulder at the baseball game. There's nobody there. Yeah. There's literally nobody there. So you could say, well, Clemson's top 5 in softball and the baseball team isn't ranked, but the baseball team has been a tried and true brand for decades. The softball thing is brand new, right? So what gets college baseball to the level of March Madness? What gets it close? Because as well as I do, Chris, that the whole country shuts down for the first 2 days of March Madness. College baseball doesn't have anything like that. Why?
Well, I think college. First off, March Madness stands alone. I mean, it's special. It's unique. It's arguably the greatest postseason for any sport. I mean, I think the college baseball postseason is a lot of fun, but I mean, the regular season of college baseball certainly is not even going to hold a candle to March Madness. And I think basketball across the board
Chris,
is still a more popular sport.
Neither is the regular season for college basketball. Nobody watches the regular season for college basketball either, right? Yeah. We pay attention to March. Right. Their tournament is so big. This is people's concern with college football is that it could become a tournament sport and the most gorgeous regular season of all time could be lost, right? So no one pays attention to college basketball. I mean, you and I do, right? Right. Like you and I do. We pay attention to our teams here and there, but globally, nationally, we don't pay attention to regular season college basketball. Don't pay attention to regular season college baseball. If college baseball can tap into, if they can tap into a tenth of the energy. Because Chris, you know as well as I do, if I say to you nationally, what's a more popular sport, baseball or basketball? There's a debate there, right? Like that is, you'd say to yourself, well, I know one of those is number two, right? I know one of them. I could debate which one it is. It isn't hockey or soccer, and football is far and away number one. So number two is definitely basketball or baseball. So why is it then that college basketball just destroys college baseball when it comes to the end of the season? And you point to March Madness. And if I'm running college baseball, Chris, I'm asking myself, how do I tap into that? How do we create our March Madness, right?
Well, I mean, I like the field of 64 they have right now. I like the regional setup. I like the best of three super regional setup, and then the College World Series is. I mean, I think it's great. But no, I mean, to your point, I mean, this speaks even more so to, grabbing the attention of the viewer. And you mentioned like the Clemson or the Clem Sucks softball baseball discussion and like why. I mean, unfortunately, Mark, the reality again is that even with a tried and true product, and I mean, I would say this about South Carolina last year because I was at those games and Founders Park was practically empty the entire year. If you don't have a product on the field, people just aren't showing up. Not in 2023, they're not. Maybe in 1993 they were, but in the era of you can stream anything, there's so many different things to do. You just don't have that fan loyalty anymore. You know that. I mean, you just don't have that. People don't feel the same obligation to go to a game when it's like they can do so many other things. And I'm not even blaming fans or calling out fans because, hey, I mean, it's, don't finish a bad book just because you started it. Don't go to a game just because you feel obligated to do so. You know what I mean? Like don't finish a TV series if it sucks. Don't finish a movie. Like there's so many other options now for people to, utilize their time, their energy elsewhere. And I think that's something. Clem Sucks baseball is not good this year, Mark. They're not good. Like we all know they're not going to be good. And so, hey, fans, college fans, they want to watch a winner over anything else. I mean, look at men's basketball versus women's basketball at South Carolina. I mean, the women average 13,000 fans a game. I don't think the men put 13,000 fans in that stadium once.
Chris, Clemson, is roughly a 600 baseball team. Okay, roughly. This is a team. It's not out of the realm of possibility that they could be in the postseason. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
The narrative is they stink. The narratives they stink. That's but from their own fans too, not just from me.
They were this close. Is it Clemson or Clem Sucks on this podcast? I don't know.
You can say whatever.
They were this close to winning a series against your team, right? So when Clemson fans say to me, "Well, Mark, it's easy to figure out softball's top 5 and baseball isn't," I'm saying, is what you're telling me now that you guys are fair weather fans? Is that what you're telling me? That you're there for the team when the times are good time Charlie, but when the going gets tough, you guys are not going to be there to have your teams back.
I think fans as a whole have become more fair weather for every team. I really do believe that. Yeah. I think it's why, again, like you just don't see, for example, college football we could even speak to. And I know college football stadiums get packed out, but there are so many reasons to not go to games now. When it comes to streaming, when it comes to, you can watch every other game, you can not deal with parking, you can not deal with ticket prices. I'm not telling people not to go to a game because it's a fantastic experience and people do pack out the stadiums. We see it every week, but I'm just saying that, especially for like a baseball where there's 56 games, and unless you're emotionally connected and tied to that team, I mean, if the product's not, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong, Mark, I'm just from what I've seen evaluating, I think you see this across every school. I don't think this is a South Carolina or a Clemson thing. I think it's just nationwide that, again, people they have shorter attention spans now and they don't want to sit there and they're not going to invest their time and energy in a product that's not good. I mean, I feel like if anybody would understand this, by the way, it's you, because you were the one that had said when you had your whole Forever to Thee fiasco, if the product's not good, don't be obligated to giving or showing up or what have you. So, I mean, some fans exert their power as a fan, as a donor, whatever, to not go. So, I mean,
well, Chris, but here's what I would say. Here's what I would say to that: the Forever to Thee thing, right? And to bring your audience into this, right? I challenged the hashtag Forever to Thee when the Gamecock football program was giving you a crappy product for decades on end. And what I said was, Forever to Thee is asking you guys for unconditional loyalty when they haven't been loyal to you and giving you a great product. They've shown a commitment to that with Shane Beamer and what he's building. But Chris, what I'm not saying is, baseball gives you a consistently great product, back-to-back national champions. You have one bad season and the fan base drops off. That's being a fair weather fan. There has to be. But if you get a consistently crap product, Chris, I do think Forever to Thee is a very tough ask when you're not delivering a good product over the long haul. I think baseball, by and large, has delivered a very good product. So let me ask you this. I like this comment from Coleman Hall. Baseball for the average fan is tough to watch unless it's good baseball and you have some emotional connection to the team. In what ways, Chris, and you can answer this better than I can, in what ways do you see college baseball adapting to what MLB is doing to shorten the game experience? I mean, the game I was at Floor Field, Chris, was 3 hours and 51 minutes, man.
Well,
I watched Clemson. I watched Clemson softball. Clemson softball game was an hour and 21 minutes. Hour and 21 versus 351, Chris. Come on, man.
Well,
in what
I'll
ways
say this,
are they going to get with what MLB's doing?
Well, and I'll say this, Mark, the game you're referencing, I think, was more the exception, not the rule for this year, at least for what I've watched, because I mean, what was it, an 11-9 or whatever ball game, back and forth, crazy pitching changes, like that game's going to go on longer. But to the credit of this conversation, this past weekend, we did live stream watch-alongs for all three of the games against Georgia. And, one of the reasons they ended so shortly was because South Carolina just disposed of Georgia and won 2 of the games by run rule, which I think is an effort to shorten the game. And those games were like 2.5 hours, which was great. But those games I thought moved at a very swift pace. I mean, the first game was like 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I think the pitch clock is actually, I've come around to it. I think it's helping a lot. So I think they're obviously adapting that rule. I mean, I feel like the only rule they haven't really picked up is the banning the shift rule, which doesn't bother me all that much. I mean, I understand like I think it'll be interesting to see it in the MLB, but they have adopted this pitch clock rule, which I think has helped. It's weird to me that, I was a pitcher in college and you teach pitchers to have tempo and have pace and keep the game moving. And I don't know if that got lost or what has happened, but the fact that we have to have a pitch clock in place to me is kind of absurd, that guys just don't know to like keep it moving, keep it going, be in the flow of the game. But I mean, I know the one at Floor Field was very long, and I think because of the intensity of that game, the back and forth, the home runs, the scoring of the runs, that's going to prolong the game, obviously. But this past weekend, actually, the games, Mark, moved at a very swift pace. They were all like 2.5 hours and less, which, we love the game of baseball. But I think also, too, Mark, just on this note, we could go off on this forever about the game of baseball. I think there's only so many things you can do and can change. The one thing I don't want to see ever change is like the integrity of the game. Like, listen, not everybody's going to like baseball. That's just the reality. Like, stop trying to make everyone like it. Like, I understand that for ratings and money, but not everybody's going to like the game of baseball. Like, if you cannot sit there and be able to pay attention for 3 hours and appreciate the small nuances, you're probably not going to like it. And I mean, that's okay. It's not football. It doesn't need to try to be football. Baseball's its own thing. Let it be the game we all love. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and Chris, I mean, I think that's well stated. And I think part of what's happened to baseball is that everybody's ADD now, right? Is that you used to be able to sit down and relax.
Did we just lose Mark there? There he is. Mark, can you hear me, my guy? I lost you there for a second. Here, we lost. Here, I'm gonna kick you real quick. We lost Mark's volume. We lost. I'm gonna get Mark back in. We lost his volume. I don't know what happened there. We lost Mark's volume. You guys can hear me. Okay, I think that was a Mark Ryan issue. We lost his volume for whatever reason. Lost his audio. I don't know what happened. Bruin Nation says, tell Mark to get off dial-up, no sound. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I thought it was just me for a moment. I thought it was just me. Let's see if we can get him back in. Let's see. Mark, there we go. All right, we lost.
Can you hear me?
We lost your audio for a second. I don't know what happened. Continue, my friend. I apologize.
Oh, no problem, man. So yeah, we're having a very, very macro discussion, Chris, and I don't know where you lost me, but I was saying that they've done brain studies on folks and how when your cell phone is taken away from us, we start to have anxiety, we start to sweat, and I think baseball is that sport that's been hurt the most by this ADD society, and how therapeutic it is for you to just sit at a baseball game and observe and be there and be present and be in the moment. We've largely lost the ability to do that as a culture and as a society. And in that sense, I think baseball can be very, very therapeutic to help people through this, man. When you're at a baseball game, how many of them have their phones out? You know, how many of them are sitting there on their phones? The baseball game isn't enough, right? It's not enough. Yeah. They've got to be stimulated and have the baseball game going on. So I think that that kind of speaks to what you're saying. And look, man, it's a fun conversation, and it's one that is being had at all levels of the game on how to draw people back in. But if I'm involved in college baseball, the first thing I'm doing is talking to the networks. How can we generate 1/10 of the excitement for our postseason that college basketball is generating for theirs? They have a national brand. They're producing ratings that the NBA can't touch. And our postseason, relatively speaking, is an afterthought. How do we fix that? That's one thing I would be really focusing on if I'm running college baseball.
And Mark, not to take this down a philosophical path, but something you said earlier in regards to people on their phones and how they have stress and anxiety. One of my favorite quotes is, most of man's problems stem from the fact that he cannot sit by himself for 30 minutes, without some sort of stimulation, entertainment. Like, most people just can't even fathom that. You know what I mean? So to your point, I think that's a really great point you make, that the attention spans are so short now that, it hurts a game like baseball. Mark, let's move off the diamond onto the gridiron. We'll talk a little Carolina football. I think what's become the most interesting storyline, because, in spring practice, right, we're kind of looking for things to talk about. We're reading between the lines of things that Shane Beamer has to say to other coaches. But, what started out as, we thought maybe, okay, for a practice or two, they are shifting to Kerryon Joyner to the running back position, just helping out with depth. They're getting a look. It sounds like this is a real thing. And it sounds like in the spring game, we are going to see the Kerryon Joyner get some touches, get some carries. Again, of course, this is a guy that I think has been making plays for the Gamecocks as long as you've been in the upstate, working with the fan upstate. And so you've seen his career, his progression. We all saw what he did in the Mayo Bowl. We saw what he did last year for South Carolina. I felt like every time he got in the ball game, he was making plays. Your overall thoughts on Kerryon Joyner playing running back for South Carolina?
I will give you them, Chris, but I want to be able to do something a little fun with you before our time is over here today. Yeah. Our show is called Offsides, after all, Chris. So it wouldn't be me if we didn't do something on this that was a little bit offside. So stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen. That is called a tease, okay? That is a tease that is acceptable. There are many teases in life that are not. This one. This is one that is. Chris, I have been almost entirely positive when I come on this show, because there's a lot to be positive about when it comes to Gamecock athletics. I think we could be entering a golden age of Gamecock athletics. The lack of Kerryon Joyner, and a guy of his skill level and talent, having anything resembling a consistent role on the football team during my time in the upstate since 2019 has been baffling to me. The guy has skill. The guy has talent, and the best coaches say we don't have a system. The system is built around the skills of our players. This guy's a playmaker, man. If he's not making plays, that's on you. Now, we all know that Will Muschamp sucks. We all know that. We all also know that Shane Beamer does not, right? And so, yes, if I'm Shane Beamer, I'm taking it as a challenge to my competency to figure out a way to utilize the skill set that this guy has, because he's a playmaker. And I've thought for some time that the best use of him is a Percy Harvin, Deebo Samuel kind of role where you mix in a pass as well, or you use Dakereon Joyner as like the Tim Tebow play where it looks like a quarterback run, but it's actually going to be a jump pass. There are so many different ways that you can utilize him, Chris. And I feel like the fact that they haven't found a way to do that is an indictment on everybody. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. I mean, it's been really interesting, the curious case of the career of Dakereon Joyner, and I feel like Luke Doty's kind of going down the same path. Granted, he's not getting the exact playing time, but I mentioned last week that Luke Doty's just Dakereon Joyner without the highlight film. I mean, really, truly like an athlete that maybe, he's obviously not going to be the starting quarterback this year behind Spencer Rattler, which, is fine. We all agree with, but, Luke Doty, a guy, which it's really interesting to me, Mark, and I'll ask you, does it ever I know this is a Gamecock specific thing, but it's, the transfer portal is so interesting. One of the intriguing things about it is you never really know why guys stay or leave. I think there's some guys it's much more clear than others. Hey, that guy wasn't playing. He's looking for playing time. But for example, many people said for years, hey, Dakereon Joyner, if he wants to be a starting quarterback, he ought to transfer. Luke Doty, same thing. There's other guys on the roster. And then there's some guys that it shocks you when they transfer. It's in pro sports, we know guys are leaving for contracts or for different reasons. I think that's one of the things that makes the portal just so, and I know you have strong feelings on the portal, but it makes it so interesting, is that we kind of never know, you know what I mean? We never know why guys are leaving. And I don't know if there's really a solution to that, but it's just, I think you could definitely say it speaks to the culture that Shane Beamer's built, that guys, even if they're not playing a ton, they want to be there and they love being a Gamecock. Luke Doty said it, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, that he's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? He's a Gamecock through and through, and he's going to stick around Columbia. I don't know. I find the portal fascinating at times, for sure.
Let's not get to the point where we're condemning kids for doing the very thing that we ask of them,
Right.
And what is
honoring a commitment, right?
That is honoring a commitment and going to a school, not for a coach, but for a program, because it means something to them to wear garnet and black. You almost sound like, Chris, why the hell haven't Dakereon Joyner and Luke Doty transferred? I would have transferred. That's what you sound like to me. Dude, it means something to them to be Gamecocks. Wake up and smell the coffee, Chris. That's okay. That's okay. We should celebrate that in college sports. That's what I'm always asking for. Don't go to a school for a coach. Don't go to school for NIL. Go to school because it's where you feel the best. It's where it's the place that tugs on your heartstrings. It's the place that gives you the warm fuzzies. It's the place that you want to be, And Luke Doty and Dakereon Joyner, it means something to them to be Gamecocks. I think you'd agree with me. The athletic program as a whole hasn't had enough of those kind of guys, right? Hasn't had enough of the Tim Tebows that would do anything to play in the orange and blue, right? So let's honor those guys. Let's champion those guys. And for all that is good and holy, let's get those guys on the freaking field.
Well, Mark, to your point, we are at a point where those guys, it feels like almost are outliers, and we are highlighting them to the level in which we are, in which it used to be, right, that, of course you love your school. You're going to your school. Of course you're not transferring. Of course you have pride and, but now with the portal, it's those guys like Doty and Joyner are becoming rarities, if you will. Shane Beamer and his football team made headlines, I guess you could say, with their Bussin' with the Boys podcast appearance. I'll ask you this: Juice Wells was asked about what defensive backs in the SEC scare you, intimidate you, whatever. He said none of them, right? And so that obviously made waves. I'll ask you, do you like that type of mentality from your football players? Do you think guys should be more humble. I mean, I love it. I love the energy, right? Especially, I mean, you're a skill position player, you're a wide receiver. That feels like pretty par for the course. Your overall thoughts on just players, I guess, approaching it with that type of mentality and cockiness, no pun intended, if you will.
Well, look, I love that he came back to South Carolina. You were mentioning, Chris, it shocks you when some guys enter the transfer portal. It doesn't shock me that Jordan Burch enters the transfer portal because you know what he's sleeping on at night? A bed of cash. Okay? He's sleeping on a bed of cash. Breaking Bad style, just sprawled out on a bed of cash. Okay? That doesn't surprise me, but you honor those guys that do. And look, man, my guy Wells is going to be one of the. I think he has every shot to have an All-American season, and he's one of the most underrated, least heralded players that has a chance to do that. I still feel like outside of SEC circles, Chris, nobody really knows him. You know, I feel like he's going to be the burst on the scene player this year, right? And it wouldn't surprise me. Would it surprise you if he is the highest Gamecock drafted a year from now? I think he has that kind of ability. It's just not known. It's just not really known because for the first part of the year, South Carolina was underachieving. And then he looked great against Clemson in the final games of the year, right? But it was such a small sample size. But when you saw what I saw, you know, you're like, man, if they could just utilize Dakereon Joyner like this, they'd have two of these guys, right? They'd have two of these guys. And good luck defending that, right? Yeah. How about Dakereon Joyner with Wells coming around as the jet sweep? Defend that, Chris. Defend that. You got Dakereon Joyner taking the snap, or you got Rattler with Joyner and Wells in the backfield. Who's getting the ball? What's this play? I mean, think of what Andy Reid would do with those guys. What would Andy Reid do with Dakereon Joyner and Wells? What would they do? What would he do? He would be ripping bleep up, and you know he would, right? You know he would. So, you know, if I am the powers that be, okay, I am studying what Andy Reid does and how he gets the ball in their hands, in his playmakers' hands, and that's incumbent upon you. But Chris, it is time. The clip of all clips from Shane Beamer, and the wonder, the $1 million question: who is the beef with? We asked this question. What do you guys think? Shane Beamer said he and his wife had a talk over breakfast. He was asked what SEC coach he would like to fight. What SEC coach could he take in a fight? And he said yesterday morning that he and his wife had a conversation, and there was one particular coach that he had in mind. Now, the first part of this question, Chris, is who is it? 58% of our audience says it's Mark Stoops. Second place was Eli Drinkwitz. Third place was Jimbo Fisher. What say you?
I think it's definitely Stoops. I think it has to be. It has to be, especially too when you factor this in, Mark, the comments. And then after South Carolina beats Kentucky and Lexington, he's in the locker room dancing to Turn My Swag On with the glasses on. He had the glasses ready to go. So, yeah, I think he took those comments to heart. I think it's Mark Stoops for sure.
So now let's do this. Shane Beamer said in a fight, he thinks, quote, I could handle my own against most of them. So, Chris, for once and for all, with your audience as our witness, can we go through the coaches in the SEC?
We can. Yeah, I know you guys did this on your show. I know you did it on your show.
Shane Beamer beat? Who would Shane Beamer beat? Now, Chris, you and I got to do this from memory. Our wonderful audience here below us has to let us know if we're leaving anybody out. Yeah. So here we go, Chris. Shane Beamer against Eli Drinkwitz. Who wins the fight?
I'll go with Beamer. I don't see Drinkwitz as a scrapper. I don't at all.
No. Beamer would send that mop-headed fool to his.
Yeah, I think Drinkwitz could beat him in like a math problem solving contest, but that's about it.
Yeah, Beamer would send the mop-headed fool known as Drinkwitz to his maker, and that would happen real fast. How about Beamer versus Josh Heupel?
I'm gonna go Beamer as well. Yeah,
Beamer beats Elmer Fudd. He definitely beats Elmer Fudd, Chris. Okay, he definitely beats Elmer Fudd. Beamer. We've got Beamer 2-0. Beamer against Clark Lee.
I don't know a lot about Clark Lee. Clark Lee looks like a rock.
Scrapper.
Yeah. I'll go
I'm
Lee.
going-
I'll give Clark Lee. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give
So we're
Clark Lee
both,
there.
we're both
I'm
2
going
and
to be
1.
very, by the way, I'm not just going to pick Beamer because I'm not. And also, I loved, by the way, Diesel. I did hear you guys segment that he just said, I'm going to pick Beamer to get his ass kicked by everybody. That made me laugh. So that was
Okay.
great.
Beamer
We'll go Clark
against
Lee.
Mark Stoops.
See, I think that's a really good brawl because Stoops is
It is because
Stoops
Beamer
is like
has
a
him on the
Stoops. Stoops is a line of scrimmage guy. Like, he's down to get bloody, like, for sure. Like, I'd probably, honestly, I think Stoops would beat in a fight. I think Stoops would beat Beamer in a fight. Yeah.
Beamer has him on age and stamina, but when Stoops gets a hold of him, it's curtains for Beamer. So I'm going to go Stoops. So we've got it 2-2. We've got 2 more matchups in the East, Chris, to get to.
Yeah.
Beamer versus Billy Napier.
I got Napier. Yeah.
I got Napier.
I know you did, and I heard you talk about that one. I think Napier's a dog for sure. Yeah.
Oh,
Napier looks scary to me. Napier looks like he street fights for fun. That's what he looks like to me.
Napier, it takes a lot for him to go nuclear, but when he goes nuclear, you better hide everybody you love, brother. You better hide everybody you love. So I've got Beamer now with a record of 2-3. Yeah. And then we've got Beamer against Kirby Smarts.
I think Beamer whoops Kirby's ass. Yeah.
There's no chance of that.
You don't think so?
Kirby Smarts?
I think he does. Yeah, I think he does.
That's not a very smart thing to say, especially when Kirby could be listening to this, Chris. So you've got Beamer 3-3. I've got him 2-4.
Kirby, great at inspirational speeches. I don't think he would throw the hands like that.
Beamer versus Spurrier. Listen, don't do that to the old ball coach. Don't do that to the old ball coach. Please don't do that to the old ball coach. Okay, so after the East, it's 3-3, 2-4. Let's run through the West real quick. Okay. Beamer versus Saban. I got Beamer.
Yeah, I got Beamer as well. Yeah.
Okay, so you are 4-3. I am 3-4. Yeah. Beamer versus Jimbo Fisher. I got Beamer.
Yeah, I got Beamer there as well. Yeah. I think purely on like an age standpoint, I don't think Jimbo's getting around very well. I don't know.
So I got 4-4. You got 5-3. Beamer versus Lane Kiffin.
See, I heard you talk about this one yesterday. Like, I just feel like Lane would be sneaky with it. I really do. Like, you can't tell me Lane can't get after it. I don't know. Lane Kiffin surprises us at every turn. I'm going to go Lane Kiffin in the upset here. Like, I'd take Lane plus the 200 or whatever it is. I'd throw the bet on Lane.
Oh, you're throwing the upset money on.
I would. I would.
I'm taking Beamer, so we are both 5-4.
Yeah.
Diesel, if you have seen this cat, there's not a single coach in college football who would beat this guy. Zach Arnett.
Yeah, I'm going with Arnett because I actually looked him up after you guys. I loved your quote. You said, if you haven't looked him up, your wife has.
Yeah. Okay, so we got Zach Arnett. We're 5-5. We got 3 to go. Okay, we're both 5-5. We have different winners and losers, though. Beamer versus Brian Kelly.
I'll go Beamer there.
Beamer.
Yeah, I'll go Beamer there. Yeah, Kelly doesn't intimidate me.
I think Brian Kelly on the fighting side is a little all bark and no bite. You know, so family is not gonna beat Beamer. Okay, so we got Beamer 6-5.
6-5.
Beamer against Sam Pittman. Beamer, this is the guy Beamer talked about.
Yeah, that one. He specifically named Pittman. You know, this is another one though where I think I'm going to take Beamer, but it's like Stoops, where if he gets his hands on Beamer, it's over. I mean, obviously the sheer size, but to Beamer's point, he has the agility. I'll go with Beamer, but he better not let him get his paws on him, because if he does, it's over. That's got to be his tactic. It's got to be his tactic.
I'm going. I'm going Beamer for conditioning.
Yeah.
Man. Sam Pittman isn't getting out of that with some sort of cardiac issue, man. Okay.
Pittman's quitting halfway through the fight to have a cold beer. He's not entertaining a fight with me. He'd rather go have a cold beer.
And then finally, can Beamer put the freeze on Hugh?
Yeah, I mean, Hugh doesn't come off to me as like an athletic specimen of any kind. So I just, you know. Hugh Freeze feels like and you know what? This is going to be unfair to say, but I don't care. Shout out to my guy, Jake Crane, big Auburn guy. Hugh feels like the guy he would bring the gun to the knife fight. I don't know why. He feels like he'd cheat. I don't know. He feels like he'd cheat to me. He would win by cheating.
I think Harrison Ford once did that in Indiana Jones, and that's fine by me.
I mean, right. Whatever you have to do.
Hey,
but
by the way, for a bonus, by the way, the final record, we have Beamer 8-5 against SEC head coaches in the Royal Rumble. We've got him 8-5. Somebody said Beamer against Will Muschamp for the bonus one. Diesel, Coach Beamer, Scrapper, Muschamp. You've seen Muschamp angry. You won't like him when he's angry.
No, yeah.
Beamer especially won't like him when he's angry. Okay.
Beamer's a better coach than Muschamp, but I don't think he would beat Muschamp in a cage match.
There you go.
And I hate to say that. And I hate to say that truly.
We both look at our objectivity here, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
We both say Beamer goes 8-5 in a fight to the death against SEC head coaches.
Mark,
can I get an amen?
Amen. I was actually going to turn on you and say in a South Carolina, the state of South Carolina media Royal Rumble, is there anybody out there you want to fight? Anybody you want to call out on these airwaves?
Oh,
is there anybody? Actually, let me do it just like they did. Is there anybody in the fourth quarter of your show? You know, you have the number one show in the upstate locked up, and you're smiling while you do it. Is there anybody out there you're enjoying pummeling while you're doing it?
I can't handle Chris homers. I can't handle homers. The reason I come on your show, the reason you come on mine, is because we're able to be objective. I can't handle homers. Okay. So if you go back and you look up all of the losers who didn't have an opinion when the Robert Caslen stuff was going on, you know, there were a bunch of people who cover the Gamecocks who didn't have any freaking opinion. Okay. Because they're scared of losing their access. Losers. Every single one of them. Okay. Your job is to have an opinion. Your audience relies on you having an opinion, okay? If you couldn't say that embarrassed the university and that he should be fired because it looked like he was liquored up, I got no respect for what you're doing, okay? And so the homers, Chris, anybody that falls under the homer umbrella, I've got no respect for. And there are radio show hosts that are like that. There are TV guys that are like that. And it's just homer it up for the local team. If I've never seen you be critical of the team you cover, I have no respect for you. And I get that from you, Chris, and that's why you have the audience that you do. Yeah. My audience gets that from me. That's why I have the audience I do, because they know that they're going to get the straight scoop from you and the straight scoop from me. And that's why I respect the hell out of you, brother. Keep on keeping on.
I appreciate it. And I will say, to echo your point, not to call anyone out specifically, but there are a lot of box score boys in the state of South Carolina that talk about the Gamecocks. And I mean, that truly is why TSUS, that's one of the many reasons, but that's, you know, I saw that 6 years ago when I first started creating content around the Gamecocks, that there's no one in this space that is giving the real, honest, unfiltered opinion that you're speaking of. And that's what's made our content stand out so much over the years, and we'll continue to do so. So I agree with you. Listen, I don't resonate with there's some folks out there that if it's not sunshine and rainbows, they don't show up, and that's why they don't win. So there you go. That's it. And that's what I respect about you as well. Mark Ryan, Offsides with Mark Ryan of the Fan Upstate every single day, Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check them out. Great stuff. And again, Mark, I loved you and Diesel's segment on Shane Beamer and the fighting comments, fighting words, if you will. It feels like the off-season chatter, the off-season banter, those types of combos, they're picking up. But those are some of the best conversations because they really are truly some of the most out there, which we enjoy.
Invite your awesome listeners to follow me on Twitter at Mark Ryan on Air. That's at MARC Ryan on Air. And right now at the Fan Upstate on Twitter, you will find the audio of the segment where my producer Diesel and I go through all the SEC head coaches. It is hilarious. Would Beamer take them in a fight? I was much more objective than Diesel was. I will tell you that much.
I was going to say, I don't know how much of a fan of Diesel they'll be after that segment, but it is what it is. I mean, Diesel took it to heart. He took the
I did.
He still hasn't gotten over it. Mark, appreciate it as always, man. This was a blast. Thank you so much.
All the best, guys. Love you guys. Take care.
Yeah, man. Take care. Great stuff. Mark Ryan at the Fan Upstate. That was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that. Mark, yeah, that was great. That was great. Guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into our first break of the day. On the other side, I want to continue to hear from you. And by the way, Shane Beamer would kick Dabo's ass in a fight. Let's be honest. Anyways, guys, taking your questions, comments, calls on the other side of the break. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377 here on this Wednesday. Great stuff from Mark Ryan. That was a blast of a conversation. That was an incredible combo. Tons of movement in the portal today in college basketball. Kansas guard Bobby Pettiford, UNC's Puff Johnson, Florida center Jason Jitabo. So, a lot of movement in the portal. I would say Lamont Paris needs to be active, no doubt. Lamont Paris needs to be active. Oh, you really want to get the slap dicks fired up, get the combo going. I'll pose this question to you guys. I mean, again, Shane Beamer went on record, and when he was asked about, is there anybody out there, which SEC coaches would you most like to fight? And he didn't mention anyone that he would necessarily kick their ass, but he sort of hinted at who he maybe want to scrap with and who he's not really a fan of. I'll ask you all, is there someone on social media, whether it be a fan, a media member, maybe it's me, that you'd most want to kick their ass? Is there anybody out there in the Gamecock community that you would love to kick their ass? Anybody you want to call out? You can use this as the opportunity to do so. I would love to read your comments, hear your thoughts. I will bite my tongue. I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover. I'll bite my tongue. But is there anybody out there that you like to call out in the comments and you'd like to kick their ass? You think needs a good old ass whooping? Anybody you can think of? I'm sure that'll get the combo going. Duncan says Beamer versus Chris. Why would you do that? Why would you? Beamer and I have no beef whatsoever. Beamer and I have no beef whatsoever. At all, of course. Quite the opposite. We're on very good terms. We're on very, very good terms. Bruin Nation said, oh, my God. Oh, smoke. I don't even want to read the comments, man. I don't even think I want to read the comments. That's hilarious. By the way, guys, side note, Jets have hired Shaq Wilson as their new assistant defensive line coach. Congratulations to Shaq for the big move to the NFL. Really great stuff. Bruin Nation says, Mike, you've you know what I thought would be funny? What if we wrote an article? What if we wrote an article and we'd, I think it'd be a fun article, who would win of all the Gamecock media boys, right? The Big J journos, who would win in a cage match of all those guys, right? Not me included. But the irony, I will say this, and I saw this a couple of days ago. I think it was on Sunday when the baseball game was happening. Somebody posted it. We actually have in our Discord, we have a Slap Dickery channel. Believe it or not, Slap Dickery. So that's where we post all this Slap Dickery. We post it in the Slap Dickery channel, right? But I'm not going to name the specific accounts. But I saw somebody, I don't even know how it really got started. Somebody said something, and you got a couple other Twitter accounts, saying, I'll beat your ass, I'll beat you up, I'll do this. And it was a bunch of guys that, if you really want to summarize the Bird app, people who are not even brave enough to put their actual face, a picture of themselves, or even their real name. People who are not brave enough to do that, insinuating that they want smoke in real life, that they want to throw hands, that they want to beat somebody up, that they want to fight. That is Twitter in a nutshell. That's Twitter in a nutshell. People who are not even brave enough to put their real name because they are cowards. They are cowards to stand by the dumbass shit they say on a day in, day out basis. That's the only reason you would be scared to put your name or your face. That is the only reason. The only reason. Otherwise, why wouldn't you? Why would you not want to own the things you say? Why would you not? So that just, to me, that just truly, that defines the Bird app. Now, I'm not even just talking Gamecock fans, Gamecock Nation. I'm not even talking sports. I'm just saying Twitter as a whole. That, to me, that encapsulates Twitter. Random, anonymous people making threats to people. It's just complete BS. Complete BS across the board. And if you want to fight somebody over something they said on Twitter, you're a weirdo. Like you're just weird. Like you're psychotic. You really are. You really are. So anyways. Dale versus Robbie. Oh shit. Our guy Brendan says, I saw something on Twitter yesterday. The more time you spend on Twitter, the more you realize it's just high school for adults. It can be. It can be. For some people, it is. For some people, it is, for sure. I mean, listen, I have not always operated on Twitter the way I do now, right? Like I've had to learn over the years. That's why I just don't get into spats anymore. I just don't do it. I don't seek it out. I have no interest in doing it. It does not serve me in any way, but it's funny though to sit back. It's funny to sit back and like watch it unfold and see it happen with other people. Like when people start going at it on Twitter, the funny thing is like there are no winners. There are no winners. You know what I mean? There are literally no winners. So it's silly, man. Austin Greer says, y'all remember Yik Yak? That was legal bullying. Isn't Yik Yak still a thing, Austin? I think Yik Yak is back. I'm almost positive Yik Yak's still a thing. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Anyways. You know, I sometimes I go back and forth. I see Blind Squirrel. Good call, Chris. You know, sometimes I go back and forth, though, because, you know, I stick to sports here. I stick to sports. We talk sports. Sometimes I try to go a little bit off the rail because there are other things happening outside of a sports realm. But for example, a Barstool, right? Like they talk a lot about like just drama, right? A lot of it's drama and maybe some of it's fabricated drama. And I'm like, there is a lot of drama we could talk about here on these airwaves. But my question is like, who would it be serving? Who would it be driving value to? Like, is that something our audience cares about? Like, should we promote in-house, and I say in-house, the house of Gamecock Nation? Should we promote in-house bickering and in-house fighting? And should we highlight, right? The beauty is this, like we have this platform. People pay attention to TSUS and the things that I'm saying and that we're saying and that we're doing. Like, should I be using my energy and my platform and my resources to promote slapdickery? Like, truly, that's what it comes back to. You know what I mean? So there are a lot of instances where I've been like, I could highlight it. I could, you know, that's why, you notice, guys, when things do hit the fan on Twitter, right? Because they inevitably do. I have an opinion. Something happens where shit just hits the fan. I try my best not to bring that into here. I really do, because I'm like, I don't think people follow TSUS for that reason. You know, maybe some do. Maybe some do. And I'm a human being, and there's going to be times where I address things, certain things, whatever. But like, I don't think that should be like a main driver of this show. I just don't think so. You know what I mean? Like, I like talking ball. I want to talk ball. Every now and then there's some drama to talk about, discuss, sift through, whatever. But like, I'm just, you know, for example, like when you look at a Barstool Sports, like a Dave Portnoy, and you got to respect what the hell he's done building. I mean, you got to respect it. Like, I don't give a damn what you think about the guy, what you want to say. Like, the proof's in the pudding. They are just massively, massively, massively successful. But like, I even look at like him, like the energy that he takes to, you know, he talks about his enemies and how petty he is and getting their names printed on bottles of champagne and shit. Like, it's funny, but it's like, I just can't imagine allocating that much energy, right? Like, I like when you're giving that much energy, like the person you're petty towards, they control you to a degree. You're under their spell. You're under their control. Because if you're going to those types of links to make a quote unquote point, then like they are winning. They have won. Do you know how you win? You just brush it off. You act like it doesn't even, it's not even there. It doesn't even matter. Like your opinion, your thoughts, your hatred means so little that why even acknowledge it? I mean, there's been plenty of instances where I could have acknowledged certain things, right? But honestly, like, I'm above it. Like, I just, I'm past it. Like, I don't care what anybody has to say. I mean, there's other Gamecock, I'll say podcasters, because entities is way too much credit. There's other Gamecock podcasters out there that have gone on public record and talked shit about me. Right? I mean, have gone in Twitter spaces, have put up things on social media, have taken shots left and right. Like, but like, why? Why highlight someone or bring attention to a voice that doesn't matter in the first place? Why do so? There's no point. And Coleman Hall, I get what you're saying. He said, I think brushing off can enable bad behavior because a lot of people are unchecked in their BS. And I hear you what you're saying, Coleman, but a lot of times, you know what happens? If someone's talking BS, if you just ignore it and don't acknowledge it, it just makes that person look stupid. You know what I mean? When the beef is one-sided, like, it looks foolish. It looks silly. Like, when you don't fuel that fire, that person generally stops because it's like, here's the thing. The embers and the fire, and this is, if it sounds frou-frou, woo-woo, whatever, so be it. But like the embers and the fire of love and gratitude and perspective, they burn on longer and brighter than the embers and fire of hate. Hate eventually burns out. I mean, that's why you see on social media, like, people will do everything in their power to slam TSUS, to get us canceled, but that eventually subsides. That eventually fades. You just cannot have that level of hatred and disdain every single day. You just can't do it. It will eat you alive as a human being. That's why you see it fade. That's why it subsides. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just not sustainable. Like that's why, for example, like, if you're a podcast out there, if you're trying to create an entity, and if the foundation of your show, and they're out there, the foundation of your show, it's not, hey, I'm going to provide something to the market, to this audience that they don't have. I'm going to provide a unique voice. My concern and my focus is on the end consumer, providing them the best possible content. If that's not your foundation, if your foundation is, well, I just hate this guy. I hate this guy. So you should listen to me instead of him because he sucks. If your foundation's based off of hatred, you will lose. You don't have a chance. People are not going to gravitate towards it. They're just not. They're just not. Bottom line, they're not. And nor should you. You should not. So what is your, I talked about this on my own personal channels, which, I mean, it's funny. My personal Instagram has kind of turned into, I just post things that maybe aren't sports related. I'll talk business, whatever. But I talk about, like, what fuels you. You know what I mean? What fuels you, right? If you're fueled by the wrong things, like, all you need is fuel to win. But if you're fueled by the wrong things, you're probably not going to win. And if you do, and I've been on both sides, I've been fueled by the wrong things before. I only speak on these certain things because I have a lot of perspective on both sides. If you're fueled by the wrong things, you can still win, but it is so much more fulfilling being on the side of being fueled by love, gratitude, perspective, all those things. Your light doesn't shine. I've mentioned this before. Your light doesn't shine brighter because you try to dim someone else's light. It actually makes you look worse. M. Duncan says, what drives it for me is the show itself. You're the main character of the show. I'm not starting anything with Mark or JC, but your show's better. And I don't think you're starting anything. I mean, everybody's got, some people hate my show and like their show more. And I mean, that's fine. Like, it's, I think too, you unlock a new level for yourself when you realize that not everybody's supposed to like what you do, especially when it comes to sports. But when it comes to anything, like, not everybody's supposed to like what you do. You know what I mean? Like, I think what's so funny sometimes is you'll see the Carolina Slapdick community on social media say that, we don't claim you. This portion of the fan, we don't claim you. No, it's like, we don't claim you. That's what those people don't get. Like, Carolina Slapdick community, we don't claim you. You are the ones that make our fan base look pathetic. You are the ones. we don't claim. And thank God you don't like me. Like that would say more about me if those people did like me. Like, thank God the people that hate me do so. Thank God. And so that's where people get it twisted. It's like, if I have a Gamecock sympathy, well, all Gamecocks are supposed to like me. Just because you're a Gamecock doesn't mean you're not a shithead. There's a lot of Gamecock fans that are slapdicks. There's a lot of Gamecock fans that are shitheads. Absolutely. I'm not calling anybody out by name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Again, the Carolina slapdick community, like, thank God those people. It's like, you don't claim me. No, we don't claim you. We don't claim you. I'd be embarrassed to tell a rival fan that you're part of the Gamecocks fan base. There are, without a doubt, people, I can assure you, me being critical of some on-field play or this, that, whatever, you may not agree with it, but I'm not making the school look bad, embarrassing the school. No, your antics on social media, you are embarrassing the University of South Carolina. You are making people saying, God, I wish that person pulled for a different team. Let's go ahead and get that out in the open. Let's get that out in the open. I can assure you, we don't claim you. That's the bottom line. So I've been wanting to say that for a while because that's the truth. It's just the truth. It's the truth. the slapdickery that takes place. I just, folks, we don't claim you. Anyways, phone lines are open. I apologize. I had it on Do Not Disturb. Our friend Robbie Davis just tried to call in. Luke RJ says, I didn't know the 2010 teams didn't lose a midweek game. I heard that on your post-game video. Very impressive. Yeah, I've actually got the schedule, Luke RJ, back here. I mean, they had one, they beat Georgia Southern 8-5 in 13 innings, had a couple extra inning games. So that's very rare. That's very rare, Luke RJ. And that's why, the 2011, or was it 2012? I don't know. One of those teams lost to Francis Marion in Francis Marion's first game at the new stadium. I mean, like, midweeks happen. What that 2010 team did was extremely rare. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. You know what I mean? All right, let's go ahead and jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Robbie Davis is actually Hall of Famer.
Robbie Davis, what's up, my friend? You're live. What's going on?
I'm doing good. Just finished eating my lunch. I had a burger for lunch in case Dale.
Ooh, love that. Love that.
It was a burger with cheese and crushed red peppers inside of it.
Let's see. By the way, Robbie, Dale chimed in. He said the people he'd want to slap the shit out of would be Hunter, Skylar, Keith, Rebecca, and Robbie for some reason. So there you go.
If he slaps me, if he ever did slap me, it wouldn't last very long because I'd probably hurt him really bad.
I'm gonna let Dale know you kick his ass.
I'm just telling you. I would open up a can of whoop ass and force him to eat it, and would not give a damn. Because if somebody puts their hands on me, at that point, I'm going to protect myself by any means necessary, okay? I'm just letting you know, Dale.
I think Dale got the message.
So there you go, okay?
He said,
right.
Robbie, how big a boy are you? How big a boy are you?
It ain't about the size of the dog. It's about the size of the fight in the dog. Thank you very much.
Robbie said he's big enough to whoop your ass. That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. And you might beat me up, but you damn it gonna earn the damn thing. That's for darn sure. That I can promise you. But anywho, first things first. Okay. Like you said about people like that are gonna hate you, okay? If you don't have people that hate you whenever you're doing a podcast or what have you, then you're not doing it correctly. Okay? And you already know this, but I love your show, okay? Love it. I hardly ever miss a show unless I'm busy doing something, and usually if I'm doing something, I let you know, okay? So, but anyways, I'm going to go biblical on you for a second, okay? So bear with me here. In the Bible, it says that God said if you hate your neighbor, you basically commit murder in your heart. So if somebody hates you they're basically kind of sort of murdering you by thinking that way about you. So to the people that hate me, you're basically committing murder whenever you hate me, or Chris for that matter. Okay? So you'll have to answer to God for that. So that's why I'm not going to make it that big of a deal for the people that hate me, okay? Because they'll have to answer to God for it, all right? But anywho, last night was
Robbie
a
said
crap
don't.
show.
Robbie said don't fear me, fear God.
Exactly, bro. God got my back, baby. Yes, indeedy. But last night was an absolute crap show. For some reason, we just could not get the bats going at all, okay? Let's get to the meat and potatoes of the combo, okay? But anywho, I think Jerson Beck did the best he could, okay? And just like Clemson and just like the Friday game against Clemson, Charlotte was jumping on Jerson Beck like crazy, okay?
Mhm.
Now, do I still think Jerson Beck is one heck of a pitcher? Yes, I do, okay? I absolutely do. But like you said, right, we're going to have games where nothing clicks, and last night was definitely in that category. So all we can do is just brush it off and keep on walking.
Yeah, I mean,
Or running, whichever
yeah,
one you wanna do.
we'll be fine. I mean, we'll be fine, Robbie. I hate to say like losing doesn't matter, but losing one game is not
Right.
it's just, let me just put it to you this way. Just like in the sense of, when you win a midweek, does it make your season? I mean, does that guarantee like anything in your season? No. So losing, it's the same way. The biggest thing is just
Right.
avoiding it becoming a trend and bouncing back the right way. But I have no concerns that this team will not do that. I have no concerns.
Right. And I think that, I truly do think that this team that will definitely bounce back this weekend. Okay. We'll definitely bounce back this weekend. I have us taking 2 out of 3 this weekend. I have us bouncing back and getting 2 out of 3. But if we get the sweep, that's just icing on the cake if we wind up getting the sweep. But I got us getting 2 out of 3 this weekend.
Yeah, love that. I will lock in my prediction tomorrow. I'm also, though, I will tell you, confident going into the weekend. I'm very confident going into the weekend.
Yeah, for sure. And absolutely. And I definitely do believe, right? Like and like I said right before, just keep your head down, stay focused, and just play. Because at the end of the day, regardless of who you're playing against, it doesn't matter if it's Charlotte, doesn't matter if it's Citadel, doesn't matter if it's freaking Furman, for God's sake, okay? You have got to play every single game because at the end of the day, like I always say, someone's got to win and someone's got to lose. And sometimes sometimes, just like last night, you're on the short end of the stick and you wind up losing.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
So, but I think we'll definitely right the ship this coming weekend and take care of business and get 2 out of 3. I ain't got no scores yet, but I got us winning Friday, winning Saturday, and losing Sunday.
I love it. Love it, Robbie. I'm excited. I'm excited for it, man. It'll be a great test for sure. And yeah, we'll see what happens. By the way,
also,
go ahead.
Just to what?
No, I was just going to tell
Just
you
to
that
add, I've been a fighter.
South Carolina.
Just like I've told you before.
Yeah.
What? Oh yeah. Wait, the women play tonight. Don't
No. This weekend they play Saturday. I was just going to say that.
Yeah,
the women are a 17-point favorite over UCLA. 17-point favorite.
We're going to win that motherfucker by 20. Are you kidding me? Forget 17. We're going to probably win by 20. Maybe even 30, okay?
Maybe so.
But anywho, like I said earlier, well, with the whole Dale thing, right? I've been a fighter my whole life, okay? I have been through a lot of crap. Okay, so if Dale thinks if Dale don't think I'm a fighter, you're sadly mistaken. Sadly mistaken. But anyways, I'll have my prediction for all 3 games this weekend. I'll have it for you tomorrow, for sure. I'll have to think on it a little bit, but I do have us taking 2 out of 3, for sure.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, like I said, I'll lock in my prediction tomorrow. But yeah, I think that's a fair prediction, Robbie. I think that's very fair.
For sure. And I'll actually be in the upstate. I'll be in the upstate this weekend because this coming Saturday I'm going to my niece's birthday party. She's turning 2. So I'll be in the upstate this weekend. So, all right, buddy. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. And I'm going to charge my phone. And whenever the Spurs Up show goes off, I'm going to go get my 10,000 steps in case Dale's wondering, okay? Going to go get my 10,000 steps in.
You got to stay in shape so you can whoop Dale's ass when the opportunity presents itself. I don't know. We might get Dale to come down to Somerville.
Oh no! Oh no! The last thing we need is a fight to break out in the Ale House in Somerville.
No, I'm kidding. All in good fun. Robbie, I appreciate it, my friend. Always a pleasure chatting with you, and I know we'll talk again soon.
Oh, for sure. All right, buddy. Be safe.
Yeah, man. Take care, Robbie. We'll talk soon. Appreciate you. Great stuff from Robbie Davis. Great stuff indeed. Anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. So great to see Luke RJ come out of his shell. Luke RJ is like a grizzly bear, right? When it's not football season, he hibernates. When it's not football season, Luke RJ hibernates. So he'll go into about a 4 or 5 month hibernation and come out in late July, early August, and he's rocking and in the comments and in the chats and everything till about early January, and he goes into his cave. So glad to see Luke RJ come out of hibernation. He's not the only one, though. He's not the only one. I just like to give Luke RJ shit. I like to give Luke RJ crap. Bruin Nation says they're gonna face off at the circus in Roebuck. Face off at the circus in Roebuck. Yeah, for sure. Nah. Guys, again, really excited. Tomorrow night begins the spring tour. We'll be out at Carolina Ale House in Harbison. Going to be a lot of fun in Columbia. And that will go for the next, I think, 6 Thursdays is what it is. All the details on social media, guys. We'll be going tomorrow night, though, at 6 o'clock. Really excited. Really looking forward to it. We will have the Beamer Ball to the Moon Tour shirts for sale. We'll have the Beamer Ball towels for sale. We'll have koozies to give away and for sale. Going to be a lot of fun. And again, I appreciate y'all and looking forward to it. And I think it's going to be really exciting and a good time. And yeah, especially too, when we start next week, they're going to be, basically serving as watch alongs or watch parties, I should say. Don't let me get that twisted. Watch parties where we will have the tour and a baseball game going on at the same time. But tomorrow night, guys, in Columbia, all my Cola Gamecocks, come on out. Going to be a lot of fun. Guys, we're going to jump into a break. On the side, I want to continue to hear from you. More your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. Was just thinking over the break, I'm definitely going to clip that that commentary regarding whose ass would you most want to whoop, and I just can't wait for all the reactions. I can't wait. Tag them. Call them out. Why not? Welcome to the offseason. Welcome to the offseason. Again, I've learned that, guys, that, we love baseball, we love basketball, but there's 2 seasons in South Carolina, and there's 2 seasons in the SEC, and there's football season and the off season, and that's pretty much it. Like Josh Pate says, there really is no off season, right? It never stops, which is the beautiful thing about it. By the way, it's why we're able to do what we do. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. What'd y'all think about Nick Saban's comments? By the way, Nick Saban almost sounded like he was calling out Nate Oates. I don't know that he was, but damn, it sounded pointed. It sounded very pointed. Safe to say that I don't think Nick Saban, or I think Nick Saban would have sat Brandon Miller. Just saying. Just saying. Let's see. Blind Squirrel, appreciate you. Bruin Nation, get ready for the fucker. See, Bruin Nation, that's why I say to myself, I'm like, why? I don't have to post that clip. Like, why? Just for my peace of mind. But I have to say that admittedly, sometimes I like to rake the coals over and just kind of wake people up a little bit, get the combo going. I want to go back to something Coleman Hall was saying earlier. If I can find it. Let's see. Coleman Hall was saying, I don't know. I can't find any of the Facebook comments. All I'm seeing is YouTube comments. I don't know. Anyways, Coleman Hall was saying something about our commentary. He feels like it's always fair and genuine. I appreciate that, Coleman. Thank you so much. Genuinely, thank you. Appreciate you tuning in. Always a pleasure, man. Beauties in the banter. I always love the back and forth we have. So that goes for everybody, obviously. M. Duncan says, who wants to slap me? Bring your best to Ale House tomorrow. Just saying. Okay. Great to know, M. Duncan, you will be at Ale House. Looking forward to it. Absolutely. Let's see. Anyways, guys, in case you missed it, Gamecocks are a 17-point favorite against UCLA on Saturday. We're going to wait to post the graphic because our folks at Ale House, they are too concerned that we'll jinx them somehow. But the plan is to throw a watch party for the Elite Eight game at the Woodruff Road location on Monday when the Gamecocks take on whoever they'll play in the Elite Eight. So that is the plan. That's what we want to do. So, and I think that's what we will do. I'm looking forward to it. Going to be a lot of fun. For sure. Let's see. Hunter Kelly, do you think Nick Harbor will start at wide receiver this season? I think he'll be in the rotation. Is he, one of your top 2 or 3 guys off the jump? I don't know. Still got a lot to learn. Got to learn the playbook, everything. But he's going to be involved. No doubt, Hunter. He's going to be involved. I mean, that's no question. No question. They're going to get him on the field. Brian Dean, yeah. I mean, I thought that game against Charlotte was a dangerous game. I did. Just because it's baseball, man. It's baseball. It's, shit happens and, shit happens, man. So it's just doesn't surprise me. Let's see. Ruination, I will say this, Chris, all honesty, the one particular podcast, in quotations, guy who was talking a lot of trash is now going after another podcast also. So obviously here's the problem. I mean, yeah, it's normally very, very easy to identify, my friend. It's very easy to identify. And I mean, again, that's why I say we do our best not to stoke those fires, provoke that madness, if you will. So Anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. Brian Dean says, you're the only Gamecock source I trust. I support you 110%. Brian, I appreciate that. John Everett, I appreciate the love and support from you as well, my friend. Now, I appreciate all you guys. I appreciate all you guys sincerely. Yeah, I mean, I just can't say thank you enough. I'm so grateful for those that rock with us, that tune in, that show love, show support, especially those that tune into TDC every single day. Means the world, means the absolute world. So we always have a lot of fun here. Man. I like to, obviously we talk ball and everything and the beauties and the banter, but it's also, man, it's sports. You know what I'm saying? It's sports. Brian Dean says, Chris, not Gamecocks related, how do you think Coach Prime does in year one at Colorado? I think Coach Prime, I could see him doing well at Colorado. This year is going to be rough. I think this year will be tough. I just, when you look at what they've got, the roster and their schedule, I think they're probably a 3 or 4 win team. I don't think they're going to be very good, but he's undoubtedly brought energy around that program. There is no question at all. He has brought a massive amount of energy, and you got to love, what he's done if you're a Colorado fan. I think just bringing the notoriety and the attention to, again, that program it's been cool for them, I know. USA falling to Japan. USA falling to Japan in the World Baseball Classic. Did anybody watch? I didn't watch 2 seconds of the game. Didn't watch 2 seconds. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from.
Lord, forgive Robbie for what he has done. And
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
What's going on, Dale? How are you?
I tell you what, man, I'm just out here trying to get me an ice cream cone. And that's something, that thing done melted in my hand listening to Robbie Davis's call, man. It's over here looking like good. This is got my blood pressure all riled up. It ain't good for me, but you just asked a simple question. And I don't hate the guy. I never said hate. And he's talking about, hating your neighbor is like murder. Man, I don't know if he knows me or not, but Keith is my best friend. We share everything. I love my neighbor. So that's where it gets it twisted. And I have to wash my mouth out with holy water every morning when I'm brushing my teeth because I don't know what I'm going to say every day. I don't know. But if he wants to get some a little ring, I used to wrestle pigs back on the farm. Little hog wrestling. I'm talking about hogs. And that's how I envision Robbie, just a little hog with a shirt on, standing beside the little microwave, waiting on his hot pocket. Like, put some hot sauce on it. That's what I see when I think, Robin. Zach Sauce's runner up.
Dale.
Because, I've been fighting all my life.
Dale versus Robbie has become the rivalry that we didn't know we all needed, truly.
You need merch they call Team Robbie or Team Dale. Praise down, praise house,
He said he's got a can of whoop ass for you ready. What do you say? What do you think about that?
Boy, he ain't never been up no East Tennessee. I don't know where he's from. He talks about rows and bucks and all this stuff, but I tell you, he ain't never been up here in these hills. Some of these hills do have eyes, and I see them at night. And boy, you don't want me to see you at night. That's all I gotta say. But if he wants a good slap or two, I give it to him. But I ain't gonna. I don't know why he got so. Like I said, I ain't trying to kill him or nothing. It ain't that I don't like him. Shit, come on, man.
You just want to slap some sense into him.
My God, yeah. I just want to, I need to start putting him on at night. Just put in his call so I can go to sleep better. That's all I've been saying since the jump. My God, Lord be with him. Just want to shake him. You just want to shake something real hard. I'd be on him like neck bones on rice, man. You know what I'm saying? Just all over it. But
I'd pay good money to see
I
it.
ain't got
Man.
me-
I'd pay good money to see it. Truly, I really would.
well, it wouldn't be much to see. That's all I'm gonna say. And, you know, I just give him that my old microwave and let him at all. Now here's your prize. That's what you get. Hope you can put this microwave in the back up with you, because I mean, them nuggets gonna be cold by the time you get home. It come up here. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't even be no fight, man. I'm telling you, not even close.
Dale said if Robbie wants to fight, it'll be his last mistake.
It'll be his last mistake. There's only like two kind of people I hate in this world. And that's Alabama fans, and then everybody that's beat me on Crash Bandicoot. I got every one of their gamer tags written down from all over the years. I'm gonna find them one day. That one guy, Comp Salad 12, so I'm gonna find that. He beat me more than he probably is Robbie. He probably would beat me. He probably is a guy on there. Anyway, that's all I got. I'm about to run out of minutes, but I just had to put my 2 cents in there. He's gonna come up here blasting me like that. That ain't how big Dale rolls. Nope. Never had. Anywho, I'll let you go. Meeting out.
Dale, you're the man. Thank you. Appreciate it. What a call. What a time. Robbie versus Dale. Who you got your money on? Robbie versus Dale. Wow. What a call. I don't even know where to go. I don't even know where to go from here. I really don't. Guys, tomorrow's podcast. There is a podcast, of course, dropping tomorrow. By the way, I apologize for the Daily Crow podcast did not drop yesterday when it was supposed to. Something with the audio went awry. So technology is great until it isn't. I do apologize for that. But the regular pod will be back tomorrow morning. Of course, it will drop. We'll talk the Gamecocks series against Mizzou. That will take up the entire show. Really looking forward to breaking that down. Excited for Carolina to return to action and get off the schneid, if you will. Get that bad taste of losing out of your mouth. Missouri, guys, has won 5 games in a row. So they will come in this one hot. Although they actually do, I apologize, they play Kansas tonight in a rivalry game. Be interesting to see how that goes. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Hunter, what's up, man?
I'm good, man. What's you?
I'm doing fantastic. Appreciate you asking. What's going on?
Yeah, so I figured I'd call before 2 o'clock. What you think about the running back room is going to be like this year compared to last year? Do you think it's going to be the same thing? Or?
Well, it's definitely not going to be the same thing because we've got new faces.
Oh, yeah, Marshawn Lloyd and all that.
Yeah, I would say this. I think the running back room. I think our starting running back is not on campus yet. I think we will go in the portal and pick up a guy or two. And I'm not saying that as disrespect to Dakereon Joyner, who's now transitioned there. I'm not saying that as disrespect to Juju McDowell or Mario Anderson or anybody back there. But I just think from a sheer depth standpoint, I think it'd be irresponsible not to go get somebody. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think the running back position, I think that room needs help. I think it needs to be bolstered, and I would expect them to go get a proven Power 5 back to help.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think there's one more thing. Yeah, and for the defense side, do you think it's going to be the same for last year too?
The defense is really intriguing. I'm almost more concerned about the defense than I am the offense. A new look secondary. I think stopping the run will still probably be an issue, to be honest with you. I don't see that making a major jump. And, secondary, you got Nicky Mawari back and O'Donnell Fortune and Marcellus Dial. But anytime you lose a pair of guys like a Cam Smith and a Darius Rush, that it raises some question marks. So I trust Torian Gray, but, I think the defense could actually take a step back this year, believe it or not. And I hope that's not the case, but just got a lot of holes to plug, man. Got a lot of holes to plug on the defense.
And to mention, we do got a new defensive coach, don't we?
Who would be the new
Or
defensive coach?
Is it the O-line coach?
Yeah, the O-line coach is new, Lonnie Teasley. But I mean, he was part of the staff last year. But yeah, he's the new head offensive line coach. Yeah, I think the defensive staff stayed intact.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I just didn't know if I was the defense coach or not.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Hopefully, I'll just be looking for the stopping the run this year. That's what I'm really hoping for. I don't really care for the secondary. I think the secondary, they can do all right.
I believe the secondary will still be solid, but it's just whenever you lose a pair of guys like a Smith and a Rush, it's just it's a lot to replace. So, going to need some guys to step up that maybe haven't played a ton to this point.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it though.
Hunter, I appreciate the call, my guy. It's always a pleasure.
No problem. Take it easy.
Yeah, take care. Great stuff from Hunter Kelly, as always. Hadn't heard from Hunter in quite a while, so great to hear from Hunter. 843-790-337. So, guys, just a couple of minutes to go here on this Wednesday. Again, want to say thank you all so much. Grateful for each and every single one of you. Again, the podcast will drop tomorrow. TDC rocking throughout the week. Really excited to get this tour underway tomorrow, man. It's almost feels surreal, the fact that we're going back on the road tomorrow. I'll probably get to Carolina Ale House in Columbia around 5:15, something like that. It officially starts at 6 o'clock, and it'll be as simple as a meet and greet. We'll do a little Q&A around 7 or 7:30 and speak to you guys and update you on business, life, the Gamecocks, whatever you want to discuss, whatever you want to hear about. And I cannot wait to meet up with you guys. I say it all the time that, I interact with a lot of you on social media, but I still believe in the power of a handshake and saying hello to someone in person and eye-to-eye contact and just that in-person engagement. So looking forward to it. Really excited. Coleman Hall says, we win a lot this year, even reach 8 wins again. Our offense will have to be borderline elite or better. Yeah, Coleman, I'm a little concerned about the defense. I am. I don't think we're going to be like worse than the SEC, but, it's hard for me. Like when I think about it, after all we lost, it's hard for me not to envision us taking somewhat of a step back. You know what I mean? It's just hard for me to envision it not happening. So, it's an offensive game. It does put more pressure on our offense. And if the offense can pick up the slack, I think special teams is obviously going to continue to be elite. But I do think the offense will have to, Coleman, pick up the slack. And that's why starting out fast is so important. That's why starting out fast is so important because, UNC, high-flying offense with Drake May. Georgia's Georgia. You got Mississippi State who throws it all over the yard. Tennessee's Tennessee with Heupel. So you're going to need to score. I mean, you're just flat out going to need to score. Absolutely. So, Stephen Boyle Jr., see you at Ale House tomorrow. Great. Love that. Can't wait to see you, my friend. Looking forward to it. Coleman Hall says, defense will take a step back. Special teams can't be any better than it was last year. I will say, yeah, I mean, it's hard to envision the special teams having a year better than what we saw last year, as good as they were. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to envision that. It is very hard to envision that. But you never know. You never know. Doubt Beamer at your own peril, I guess. But, I mean, yeah, realistically, it's hard to fathom that you could have much of a better year than you did. Truly. So, let's see. Another one. Arizona guard Kerr Kriisa has entered the transfer portal. A lot of guys hitting the portal. A lot of guys. Going to be absolutely pivotal for Lamont Paris to hit that portal. Hunter Kelly, stream the Missouri game. I will not be Hunter streaming this weekend. No live stream watch-alongs this weekend. Just because I feel like if I can't do all three of them, I shouldn't do one of them. You know what I mean? Because Saturday, I'll be out of town. So I can't do Saturday. So I just kind of feel like, yeah, I don't think we're going to do live stream watch-alongs this weekend. Not for, again, it's not going to be an every weekend thing. It's not going to be an every series thing. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, that being said, Coleman Hall, last thing he says, oddly feels like the year after Muschamp won the Outback Bowl. Lots of wins in spite of our offense, and when we thought we'd win because of it. That's a great – Coleman, bring that up tomorrow. That'd be a great topic to talk about tomorrow, and the comparisons between those years, if you will. Guys, we've hit 2 o'clock. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Appreciate it. Stay tuned. All the content, of course, content bleeding out the eyeballs. Podcast version of TDC will drop today at 3 o'clock. Podcast returns tomorrow, 5 a.m., the normal pod, if you will. And, of course, TDC rocking throughout the week. Guys, thank you all so much. Appreciate you all tuning in. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we will talk to you all